and she got to be the one who got to be angry, and I didn't get to be angry, and so I would be holding in anger, climbing up, and then that would make her angrier, and so in this particular situation, she was saying, "Respond to me. I can't stand it when you don't respond. Respond to me. I'm not going to let you go back to school until you respond." And then somehow, furthermore, the message was, and you have to give me the right response. You have to give me your genuine response, and it has to be the one I want. And I mustered it up. See, it was very creative of me, you know, but I also feel like I knuckled under. You know, I gave her a response which seemed to be genuine, which was coming from some genuine place in me, but obviously I couldn't give her my real response, you know, which was, "You're a bitch. You know, and you have no right to do this to me, and let me go back to school." If there's trust of other people, and there's trust of myself. And there's this distrust of my own level of
You know, it's interesting because you were talking about your anger, and it's like I said, I don't know if anger is the right word, but yet, and I think it happened for me yesterday, this feeling, and I don't know what it was. It was like I really went toward you, and I love your openness, and at the same time, there was something in me that, I don't know, that I felt, I did feel some anger. And I felt almost like put upon.
I think, you know, I felt like you really nailed me when you said you felt angry at my kind of putting out this victim thing. Because my understanding of passive aggression is that it's being weaker than you really are, and then other people have to, you know, that's what the personality disorder is. It's somebody who's always making mistakes or forgetting. Not functioning up to their level of competence, and then that's their way of taking it out on other people.
Taking it out.
Yeah, and so I, you know, I think that you nailed me for that, and that's what that my whole, you know, kind of inferiority victim thing is. I know I'm not functioning up to my full capacity, my full level.
How did you feel being nailed?
I felt defensive at first. I felt critical of you because you were sort of going on, and like, my response was, "Well, you don't understand. I said I don't have time to do. I've done all those things that you're telling me I should do. I've done them. Reading books doesn't help. That's not the way I function. I've read lots of, you know." That's how I felt.
You are.
And you know, and then somebody else stepped in and said, "She's right."
I'm Bill Roller.
And I'm Vivian Nelson.
We are co-directors of the Berkeley Group Therapy Education Foundation, which is a sponsor of this videotape. The video you are about to see is a companion to my book, The Promise of Group Therapy, published by Josie Bass of San Francisco. Those of you who are reading the book in addition to viewing the videotape will profit from the detailed analysis I give to the scenes that follow. The events of a group occur in non-linear ways. Because of this, we have designed our commentary in this video to provide a narrative structure that will help you see the complete story of our group. What you see in our 3 videotapes has been edited from 16.5 hours of live-to-tape group sessions. This first videotape concerns the beginning phases of a very rich and complex group, and we think you will learn more each time you watch it. In an effort not to duplicate what I say in my book, our comments address the sorts of things that can be seen only by watching the videotape. We have created a video document that was unscripted. In that process, we show our mistakes with the candor appropriate to a spontaneous group.
Our group met 10 times, and all absences by members were known to us before the start of the group. Our group was a time-limited group, but differed significantly from time-limited therapy groups by the absence of confidentiality and the presence of an external group of individuals responsible for video production. It was also a training group because the participants joined to learn about group process as much as to learn about themselves.
No one theory is comprehensive enough to encompass the phenomena of group process. Our analysis of this group is far from exhaustive, and many other theories might be used to analyze the same data. Indeed, you may see things that we have missed.
last week, as this group was going, I had very little sleep to begin with, to turn this thing down. And I was getting just more and more, I was getting a horrible headache and feeling, it's hard to describe, a lot of adrenaline, alienated and regressed. And realizing that I had come into this group with one expectation, which was I thought that this was like a therapy training group. And then I thought, well, if we're going to be trained in therapy, we've got to bring in our issues, right? And so I brought in my issue and kind of dumped it into what I call the cauldron. And then I noticed that nobody else was putting their issues into the cauldron. And I did a terrible thing to myself in my mind. I saw myself as just the outcast. And then I got some very painful feedback. Well, you called me sloppy Italian, and you talked about how controlled my face was, and both of those things just went straight into my worst self-concepts. I actually called Vivian and Bill and said I wanted to leave the group, that I just, this wasn't what I was up for. Then I thought, no, maybe I can switch and just be in a different part of myself.
Judy felt the weight of the negative projections upon her as scapegoat leader. Her decision not to terminate prematurely from the group leads the way to a resolution of Phase 2 during this session and lets them advance to a cooperative work mode. Had she left, the group could have been mired in Phase 2 issues, while a new scapegoat leader emerged.
The following sequence tracks the group's movement from Phase 2 into Phase 3. As emotional leader, John takes responsibility for what he had done to alienate Judy, and in this way contributes to the acceptance of the scapegoat leader and to her own self-acceptance.
I believe this is a good example of how object relations shift among members as groups make the transition from one phase of development to another. Let's watch it happen.